Today, today's topic is basically we will go through and understand what exactly is MySQL, what is that, and we will also understand some of the basic initial level understanding of SQL that you should have. Then we will create databases, tables, and we also try to put some data in, read that, and all those stuff. That's what we are going to do for today. So I'll be there is a doc which we have. We will be that is the kind of notes. So you people, I don't think that you should have a no need to waste your time in taking notes and all, because we have a brief small explanations for every topics that we cover, and the link will be shared in the Discord group. So every day's notes will be getting updated to the doc, so you'll be having something handy in your hand to learn. So that's it. So let's start. Let me share my screen. You people can see my screen right now.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So I think the first part is already done. You people have. I take that everyone have installed your MySQL successfully, and so now starting before starting with MySQL, we need to understand certain basic terms that we are supposed to look into in Databricks. Sorry, in databases, and that is one major thing what we need to understand is DBMS. You'll when you start to work in you into the data domain, you start to hear a lot of words related to RDBMS, DBMS, NoSQL, and quite a lot of things. And one of the major things that you should know is DBMS, and it is just need to understand the concept. So DBMM is nothing but it is a database management system, nothing a software that will help you to manage and organize data. So today we are having MySQL installed in everyone's system. That is the one DBMS that we are going to use. So all our notes will be something like this. When you go for job, no one is going to give you ask you for definitions and all, like universities. They will ask just you should have basic understanding. That's it. No one is going to ask questions on this and all. So today's in our training we will be using the DBMS which is called as MySQL. But when you start to learn about any SQL terms, right, when you start and search for learning SQL, even in YouTube or wherever, you start to see many names, right? You will see different names like MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQL Server, IBM DB2, Oracle SQL, SQLite, and quite a lot of SQLs. So basically, everything is SQL itself. These are different dialects of SQL, and each one serve its own importance. Like if it comes to MySQL, it is an open source software, often which is often used in web applications. Most of the startup kind of companies used to prefer this because it is open source. There is something which is called as IBM DB2. IBM DB2 is used for legacy, legacy systems in finance and all those stuff. So each one serves its own importance. So SQLite is it is basically used in mobile applications, SQL systems, and embedded systems and all, because it is very lightweighted DBMS. So each one have its own importance. That's why we use depending upon the use cases, people change the SQL that they are using. So it will have some of its own importance that will serve for certain use cases. So in our case, we are going with MySQL. So when it comes to MySQL, once you go in, you need to understand certain stuffs, right? So SQL, when it comes to a DBMS, you have a complete big stretch of architecture which is there with execution engine and all those things. I don't want to share those things initially with you because you people can get overwhelmed. So we will look into that architecture later. Now to start with, we need to know what all things you want to, what all things you are expected to have in your database, like database management system in your MySQL, and what all are those things and how it is going to serve your purpose of recording and storing and managing data. So when it comes, first of all, the database software. In our case, it is MySQL. So when it comes to MySQL, inside MySQL, what we are going to do is we are going to basically store certain data. So storing data in an organized manner, for that purpose, we have something called as databases. So before getting into that, let's take an example. Okay, so in your colleges, wherever you have seen libraries, right? Book libraries where you find books. So consider that the complete database management system as a library. So once you get into a library, you can find all those books which is in organized manner, right? So one database you can consider as a library. Once you get into this library, you will find informations in different properly arranged manner, like a blueprint, right? If you go to a science related books, that complete area will be science related books. And if you go to somewhere you find computer science related books, it will be organized in manner with proper blueprint. Like it will have, if it's just computer science books, it will be computer science books. Under that computer science book, if you find data structure books, SQL books, C++ books, C books, so it will be aligned in a kind of a proper blueprint. So these kind of informations are called a schema. When it comes to database management system, a schema is where tables, data types. Inside the table, we will discuss on data types later. Inside the table, what kind of data is there, what are the type of data in each column, how many number of columns are there, and all those information will be stored in the schema. And when it comes to a library, you find under each arranged columns, you find books, right? You can consider books as tables. So books means each book have informations. So in our case, in each table, we have data in the form of rows and columns, which can be retrieved, updated, and used for some meaningful purpose. So when it comes to a DBMS, a database management software, it will have database, which is where you will find all the data arranged in a proper manner. Under each database, it arranges the data with the help of schema and tables. Schema is the blueprint which helps to store the data in the right and required manner. Table is the location where you find all the data. And a database can have multiple tables. So I know these are very basic kind of stuff. You people have already gone through this, and you should have some kind of basic understanding about what is database and all those stuff. Anyone have any questions on this?
No.
So anyone without a background of SQL, anyone is there? Because I will be able to provide you some additional um, resources that you can learn some basics and all those stuff. No one is right. Okay, then it's fine. So I think then we can go directly to the other stuff. How to create databases and how to update information into tables and all those things. So we have a complete doc here. So we have already discussed on database. Database is nothing but is an organized collection of structural data. So under database, we'll have structured data in the form of tables. And now when it comes to SQL, the way which we write the syntax, right? It is very layman kind of a syntax, and it is very close to English. So here you can see a simple syntax which we are going to use to create a database. To create database, we just tell the database management system, the software, to create database and what is the name of the database. That's it. It creates a database for you. So let's try this and create this database.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, may I know the difference between DBMS and SQL?
See, SQL is the language that you are going to use to write, create tables, update data. There is something called as CURD application. CURD we used to say. We'll show you later. Which means we to use a table, to update the table, is to use the information to fetch certain valuable ideas from that. We use a language, right? That language is SQL. DBMS is the software which we will help to write those informations and manage these tables and informations. That's all. In DBMS, we use SQL language to do all this process.
Okay.
Yeah. So you people all have, I think you all have SQL Workbench in your system. So let's go and let me create a new query. So this helps. So you can just go like a playground and test all these things, what all these stuffs are. Whatever we do here is the same thing. Like we can write in SQL queries as well as you can use. This is something to create databases. We normally as a programmer only use code to create databases, update, delete, and all those stuff. And so this is something where I am just creating a new query. New query is nothing but an area, a notebook, or something like a page where I can write my queries in. So let's try creating databases. So it is very similar, very similar to English, as we told. Like we need to create database means we just tell them that we need to create a database. Then create. Then what is the item? Whether it is database. When it comes to table, also we'll have the same syntax. Then we'll give the name of that what database we need to create, and we'll just end it with a semicolon. So let's try this and run this.
So your screen is not sharing.
Is it? Okay, okay. I think I didn't share the complete screen, that's why. 1 minute. Now you people can see me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you have this kind of difficulty, no, please let me know initially itself, because I just went through little long and no one noticed. So I just start from first. Okay. So I just opened my SQL Workbench and I just added this query. If you see, I just click here and added a query. Query. This is where you can take that as blackboard. We are going to write where you are going to write something. So it is where we are going to write queries and run. So to create a database, I already run this command. So it is very straightforward. Most of the things in, like if we want to create a table or a database, we use very layman language where we just give the statement what exactly the operation we are going to do and operation on what item. Here we are now, the item is database. Then what is the name we are providing for the item? So create database and database name. So now as I have already created, this will throw an error, but so I'm just renaming it as employee management 1. And if I run this, so for running, you can just select this and just click on this this simple, or you can also use command enter or control enter. Command enter in Mac and control enter in your Windows. So to check whether this database is created or not, in this left side under schemas, you're supposed to get your tables, your databases. So as we discussed previously, under your database, you will have different tables. We will also look into views, store procedures, and functions. These store procedures and functions are little advanced topics where it will serve you. That is what exactly you are going to do in your real life projects. So you can see I have created the database. So what happens if I try to create a database which is already exist? So if I run this again, because it's already created, and if I run this, it will throw you an error. If you want to understand what is the error, you can just go and copy the response from here. This is where you'll have all this run status, its response, and all those things. Just paste this here. Throws me an error like the database already exists. So these kind of things, the problem is when you have big enterprise level kind of systems, where there will be thousands of users, thousands of databases also. So you may not be aware like what is the database name exists or not. So when it comes to Databricks and all, you have some functionality which helps you to create a replace table that is not available here in MySQL. And those type of things we will see later. You can also write a different command in a different manner to check like exists we have something called as existent. Um, so if you run this, it will give you just a question. Sorry, I have a typo here.
Not exist.
Yeah. So it will just throw you a exception, but it won't throw you an error. But you can see the same thing. It will be showing your response that database already exists. Similarly, when it comes to create database, you also need to drop database. Sometimes you may need, like I have a data of a employee management, and now it is already deprecated. I'm not going to use anything ahead further. So in this cases, from your server, you may need to delete this data. So for that also, as we already discussed in database in MySQL, the language will be very same. Instead of create, will be, now what we need to drop the table, drop the database. What is the database name is, what is the item name is database, and whatever database you want to drop, the name of that item, the action, the item type, and its name. So you just run this. So now we have dropped employee management 1, and you can see employee management 1 is gone from the list of databases. Similarly, if you want to drop employee management, you can do the same thing. Just drop and just click. It went. In case sometimes it will take some time to update here, so you can just click on this refresh. It will give you the latest updates. So anyone trying to look into this hands-on to create a database by your own, trying? So I'll give you 2 minutes. We can give it 3 minutes of time for you to try this hands-on stuff. And meanwhile, I'll just share this doc of today's in the Discord group. 1 minute. So let's go ahead. So hope you have given a try, and you will. These docs are there available in the Discord, so you can even try after the classes in case if you don't have your machines handy with MySQL. So let's go to the further topics. So once you created databases, what would be next?
We need to insert the data values into the table.
Yeah. So now we need tables also, right? So let's create database tables also. Okay.
From are you sharing?
Yeah, I'm sharing.
And I have one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Did you drop the table which is created just now?
Mhm.
Which means it is erased from the way. It's completely erased or not?
So we just created a database. Okay. If you created created database and dropped that database, the whatever tables, for example, you have created Ravaliga, right? Question. Kavana.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
Ravalika.
okay. So you have created a database in the name of Ravaliga, and you created 100 tables under that. Once you drop this database, you will be losing all these 100 tables whichever was there under your database. Okay.
Okay, sir. And if we drop for one table or two tables from the database, we will not lose the database, right?
Yeah.
We only lose the data of the tables which are dropped by us.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, sir.
So let's go to the further topics. So some of the so before creating tables, we need to understand some of the data types. As we have seen in Python and other languages, there are data types. So in each column, see, for example, anyway, everyone have used SQL. At least you people have used Excel, right? In Excel, we will have in each column we can either enter a number, a character, a date, and all those things, right? Similarly, in MySQL also we have different type of data types. And here I have taken only very few and basic level stuff because I don't want to have advanced stuff initially itself to keep to make you people confused. So we have some advanced data types, like when it comes to date, not only date, you have timestamp, you have date time, different 2 3 other types of dates also, but I am not adding that now. We will discuss those things later. So what is data types? You have 10 columns, means each column will have some kind of value, right? So that column values are called as, that is non, like that have certain type. So in case if it's first column, if it's an id, it should be either a number kind of stuff, right? So that is integer. Similarly, you have varchar, it is basically a string. String means text. It will have, we need to also specify the size of that string also. And next you have text. When it comes to large strings, you need to have in your data, that is text. Then you have date. Decimals basically float, whatever see in Python. Then you have booleans like true or false values also. So each columns will have, depending upon the how you specify during creating your table, there will be data types. So let's see how to create them. So before that, we also need to understand this. Basically, a table in SQL is nothing but a structured collection of data in the form of rows and columns. We all know that. So let's create a table. So first of all, before creating table, we have to create this database again, right? Okay, let's see. So in case if you want to now, if I run this, till will this work?
No, I think so.
Why?
We didn't created the table database for this particular table.
Yes, exactly.
For which table, for which database we are creating table, it is does not exist.
Yeah, I didn't specify the database name here. So I'm taking this database which I already have in the name of, let's elevate. Okay. You have can specify this in two manners. One is you can just go and type your you can just map your table to the database, right? If you have 100 databases, you had elevate 1 2 3 and all, you need to understand where this database employee is supposed to go. If I create like this, now I have mapped this employee table, which are I'm going to create, should be going under this particular database. So if I do this, will this work? Any idea? Let's see whether it is going to work or not. So I'm just selecting and running that. It didn't work. So it says an unknown. Okay. Okay, I just had a typo there. That's why it didn't work. If you click here, it will work. So now I have a table which is in the name of employees. Let's see that whether it is there or not. So if you go under tables, if you click, you will see employees. Let's create one more table in a different manner. Okay, I'm just taking, I just have this employees now. I'll try to employees, instead of employees, I'll tell it's employees salary. Okay, so here you can use a different manner in order to in order to update your DBMS or the software that I'm going to use this particular database during my next all my commands. You can use this command which is called as use, and you just need to specify the database name here. Once you have this ran, thereafter once wherever you whenever you're working in this notebook, the further commands will be running, identifying that this is the database that should it work on. So I'll write this, and let's see whether the employee salary is running successfully or not. So you can see it is successfully ran. You people can see my screen, right? Aditya?
Yes, we can see.
So you can see that I have created another table in the name of employee salary. Let's go and check whether the table is present under our database. So if you can go, you can see we have employees which we have created, and we have employee salary also. So when you work with your data, this approach will work. So is that clear? Okay, so now we will go to the next topic. Now we have created the table. What should be the next thing, most probably?
Sir, one doubt.
Yep.
Why you used that use is keyword let elevate in that eighth line?
Yeah, that's what I was telling. We have mapped here, right? This employee should go to. How did this employees table went to this correct database? Let elevate. Because we have mapped, right? We have given that this employee should go to let's elevate. Similarly, in another way of approaches, you can specify that database here, use, and you can give the database name. Then thereafter, whatever query you run, it will be fetching. It will be trying to map it to this database, whichever you have mentioned here. Now
Okay.
next command, I didn't put this database name dot. I just ran with just table name and it went to this right database.
Okay, it's a different way to mapping
Yeah, that's
while
it.
coming to two ways.
Yeah. Clear? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. So once we have created the table, now we need to insert few data, right? So once we create the table, we need to insert the data, and we'll see like how to insert data into. For inserting data also, as we told, the command which we run is very similar to English layman language itself. So let's go to the doc. So now we have created the table. Now we are going to insert certain data. Okay, I did insert. Okay, let's go and insert. Okay, so here we have the insert command. So now I'm creating another table. Okay, so to the same database, I am using use command. So in this I will use let underscore elevate, and I ran this. So I'm going to create a sample data. So here I have specified all the data types. So int, it's a whole number or a number. I have also specified the like varchar 50 means it will be a column which contains a string with a maximum of 50 characters. Then you have a description which will be a long string. Then you have a birth date that will be in certain format. In MySQL, this is the format. Then you have decimal in the form of salary in the form of decimal, and whether this is a active. Normally I just want to mention whether this is an active employee or not. I'll just make this table as employee. Employee we already have, so I'll make it employee 1. So I'm just running this. So we have successfully run that, and now we have a table called as employee 1. Now I need to insert a data. Very same like what I told, like we just mentioned the action, insert into, that is the action. Then we need to specify the item name. Normally insert it only happens in table, so you don't need to mention the item type. We are going to item name. So here our item name is employee 1. Then we need to specify all the column names in the name of, like you have ID, you can see that very same, you have name, you have description, you have birth date, you have salary, and you have is active column, all in a comma separated as a tuple, no, like a Python tuple. Then similarly, after a command values, what are the values? You need to pass this information. If you have 100 rows, you need to pass all these rows in the same manner, one by one into the column. So we have around 25 data here. So I just comma separatedly passed 25 lines of data, and notice all these data serve the same data types. It should not change. We'll also see what happens if it changes. Let's go and run this. So I'm just running this. So you can see all this 25 data has been successfully inserted. That's what the command says. Now if we want to see this data, everyone have got like basic idea of Databricks, SQL, right? Let me know, like, just drop me the command in the chat to retrieve and see all this data, please. Or you can even drop the command into Discord. Okay, so to create, let me just share the screen. Okay, once you create a data, so then the command to get all the information, retrieve the information and see is a very simple: select star from. Star stands for all the data. In case if you want to have specified data, I will show you that also. Then you need to, so you have given the action select star from, that means select all the data from. Now what else you need to give us? The item name. So I just need to provide the item name. Here we are looking to have data retrieved from the table employee 1. Enter with the semicolon, just click and just run. So you have all 25 data here, whichever we have inserted. So it's simple and straightforward. You just use a layman language, insert into employees, and just run this complete command, select star from employees, and you will be able to get all this data. Now let's see, we will try to run employee 2 with the same data, and let the data types will be the same, and I'm just going to do something with the data. Now I am going, you see, the salary should be in decimal, right? We have specified the salary column should be in decimal, that too in decimal with a total of 10 digits and 2 decimal points. So I'm just going to pass something, a different data type here. So I'm just going to, so will this work? Let's check. So just let us select the complete stuff and just run this. It thrown an error. So let's take the response. You can just go double click, right click on this, copy response. You'll be able to get the response here. You just copy and paste it here. So it says that it doesn't exist. Okay, I didn't run this. Okay, let me run this first. Now the table is created, employee 2, and let me see. So let's see the current error. Copy response, and let's see what is the current error. Say that incorrect decimal value. That means you have passed the wrong data type, and the column name is should be you have passed a non like decimal value to this column name salary. That's what they are. So make sure that whenever you write the data, if you always need to maintain, once you specify the data types, you can update that. We have alter statements to update, but you can't make a change once it is initially given and it is running on the same schema. Somewhere where later you may need to update that with a different schema type, and you need to update the data. So that's it. Now let's see. So okay, we also have seen data, how to retrieve and see the data. Say if I just want to see the name of the person and his birth date. So now if you run this command, right, if you put select star state from the statement, so you find all these informations, right? Now I just need to get the name and the birth date. Oh, you can even take salary also. For that, nothing. You just need to give the name here, comma. You just need to copy this copy field name, database, and you will copy, let's copy the birth date, field name, and just so this is how. Now I just don't have all the list of data that I should have, and I just have the name, description, and the birth date. So in case if I just need name and description, I just move this out, take this and run that. So you have name and description.